Let's talk about how emotionally manipulative narcissists actually react when you stop playing along with them and what happens the moment they lose their grip on you. A narcissist is someone who is deeply focused on themselves. They are not really interested in other people, only in how those people can serve them. There is a constant hunger inside them to be seen as the best. They view the world from a place where they always need to come out on top. If you fail to notice how wonderful they think they are, they will find a way to make sure you notice. You can never compliment someone else while a narcissist is around, because in their mind that puts the other person above them. They will likely get upset and insist that the compliment should have gone to them instead. You might even feel guilty enough to take back what you said. What follows is a set of behaviors that tend to unsettle narcissists deeply. A quick warning first. Only try these approaches if you feel secure and confident in yourself. These methods work best on narcissists who manipulate and irritate you, but are not the type to turn violent. If you are dealing with someone on the more dangerous end of that spectrum, someone who could become physically aggressive, do not try any of this. In fact, keep your distance from them entirely. If you or someone you know is in danger from a violent person, please prioritize safety above everything else. Now that we understand the boundaries here, let's go through what actually unsettles a narcissist. The first thing is plain honesty. Telling the truth without softening it or dressing it up is one of the most disturbing things you can do to a narcissist. Say things exactly as they are. Speak with total honesty, even if it feels uncomfortable. I grew up around people like this. Some of them were relatives, some were coworkers I dealt with over the years. Looking back, the thing that always bothered them most about me was that I said what I actually thought and called things what they were. A narcissist cannot stand it when someone else speaks up or stands their ground. They believe that right belongs only to them. Here's something worth remembering. Truth carries a kind of weight that no lie can ever match. No matter how convincing a lie sounds, the truth eventually overpowers it. You can count on that happening every single time. People who are honest and direct tend to unsettle narcissists in ways that are hard to explain. Even in silence, just being straightforward and unwilling to play their games makes them uneasy. They cannot always identify why you make them uncomfortable, but they feel it. That discomfort exposes them because it threatens to reveal every lie they have built their image on. So do not be afraid to be completely honest, both with others and with yourself. This kind of directness is unfamiliar territory for a narcissist, since they are so used to bending the truth and misleading people around them. Underneath it all, narcissists usually have a very fragile sense of who they are, and that fragility is why they manipulate others to feel better about themselves. Once you stop feeding them the words they want to hear and start speaking plainly instead, saying things that most people are too afraid to say to their face, they tend to back away. There is nowhere left for them to hide once they have been cornered by simple truth. If you are still unsure how powerful honesty can be, just remember this. The truth is always enough on its own. Hold on to that thought. The second thing that works is showing them indifference. A strong dose of not caring can genuinely unravel a narcissist. They believe they are entitled to look down on others and treat people with disrespect, even when those people have done nothing to deserve it. But when that dynamic gets flipped, things fall apart for them quickly. They do not know how to process it. It is a classic case of one rule for them and another rule for everyone else. They can treat people poorly without a second thought, but the moment they sense that you genuinely do not care about them or anything they claim to offer, it throws them into confusion. This kind of quiet rejection tends to affect them more than almost anything else. The third thing is exposure. Nothing bothers a narcissist more than being exposed, and the good news is that doing this is not complicated. All it takes is calling out their behavior in front of other people. If they start speaking badly about someone, you can respond with something simple like, "That is not something I need to know about," or "That sounds like a personal matter you should handle on your own." Then stop talking. You have already made your point by naming what they are doing, and there is no need to add anything further. You can use the same approach when they act passive-aggressive, or when their exaggerations and shortcomings become obvious. For example, if they give you a snide look, you might simply say, "Was that a smirk? Interesting," and then stay quiet. Stay calm no matter how they react afterward. Another option is to hold back and let them expose their true nature on their own, without your help. You can also ask them a direct question in front of other people, one they cannot answer honestly without revealing something embarrassing about themselves. Finally, let them sense that you are watching them closely. This alone can make a narcissist restless. You do not need to say anything outright. Simply let your expression and body language communicate that you understand exactly what is going on. Done correctly, This shows them that you see straight through their act, and that realization can be unsettling for them. Once they understand that you recognize how insecure, weak, or incapable they really are underneath the surface, it hits them hard. Narcissists despise losing control of a situation, and they despise it even more when someone can read them accurately. That covers the main points for today. Thank you for watching, and if you have ever dealt with a narcissist in your own life, feel free to share your story. If you found this useful, consider following the channel for more content like this. Now let's look at what happens inside a narcissist's mind once they realize they are no longer in control. Narcissists tend to believe they are exceptional in every way. In their own minds, they are smarter, stronger, more capable, more attractive, and simply better than everyone around them. Sometimes they will act like a victim, but that is usually just a tactic to pull attention toward themselves. They fish for praise and put on a show of humility so that people will reassure them of how great they supposedly are. It always comes back to needing that validation. They keep themselves busy and distracted so they do not have to face the pain, hopelessness, and quiet despair sitting underneath the surface. There is a voice inside them that whispers they are not who they pretend to be, that the whole persona is built on lies. They avoid that voice at all costs. What if it is telling the truth? They refuse to consider it. Instead, they go out into the world, determined to prove their greatness to everyone, including themselves. So what happens when they lose control over you or over a situation? Things tend to get difficult quickly. Before we go further, if you are enjoying this content, please consider sharing it with someone who might find it useful, and subscribe if you are new here so you catch future videos. Let's continue. The first reaction is confusion, or at least the appearance of it. At first, they will pretend not to understand what you are saying, hoping to convince you that they are more clever than you realize. They will act like they cannot grasp why you are upset or what they did to earn your distrust. When you question their honesty or their motives, they will act baffled, as though they have no idea what you mean. They will pretend not to understand how serious the situation is or what consequences their actions might bring. Playing dumb becomes a way to dodge accountability entirely, and that avoidance is the whole point. The second reaction is claiming that you are the one who hurt them. In a narcissist's mind, the moment you stop letting them control your perception of them or of the world, you have wronged them somehow. Once you stop believing everything they tell you, they read that as a loss of power over you. No matter how badly they have actually behaved, you can count on them presenting themselves as innocent and misunderstood. They will often say things like, "That is not what I meant," or "I never said that," repeating it again and again. They might ask what they even did to upset you so much, or accuse you of being too sensitive, or use similar phrases to shift the blame back onto you. They try to make you feel sorry for them by inventing stories that paint themselves as the victim and you as the villain. The third thing they do is try to turn other people against you. When a narcissist cannot control how someone feels about them directly, they shift their focus to controlling how others see you instead. This usually happens quietly, behind your back. Never underestimate how far a narcissist will go to poison the way people around you think and feel. Chances are, they have already spent time working to undermine the trust others have in you. So do not be shocked if a kid who always liked you suddenly turns cold, or a stranger gives you a strange, judgmental look for no clear reason. There is a good chance the narcissist has been spreading exaggerated or false stories about you to whoever will listen. Letting people see who they truly are would be devastating to their ego, so instead they quietly wage long campaigns to make it look like their own flaws belong to you. The fourth thing is anger, and sometimes outright revenge. The moment a narcissist senses they no longer have influence over you, they will try everything they can to hurt you and damage how you feel about yourself. They will go out of their way to stir up trouble and cause as much emotional pain as possible while they are still in your life. Narcissists rarely walk away from a relationship quietly. Almost every ending involves conflict or lingering resentment. From what I have seen, this happens because they want to shift the blame for how things fell apart onto you. Expect loud accusations and public complaints, often at full volume. Calling out their behavior for what it actually is takes real courage. It takes a lot of strength to stand up to someone with such an inflated sense of self. And on top of that, you now have the nerve to set your own boundaries and limits with them. Honestly, that kind of courage deserves respect, especially if you have already managed to walk away from something unhealthy. Give yourself credit for that. After this, expect your social media to become a target too. You can usually tell someone lacks emotional maturity when they refuse to do anything genuinely kind or reasonable to help resolve a conflict, no matter how clear or subtle their narcissistic behavior has been. Rather than sitting down to talk things through, they will scroll through your social media looking for anything they can twist and use against you. They are constantly searching for new angles to exploit. The final point on this list is excuse making. Narcissists struggle to feel empathy for others. Their sense of right and wrong tends to be weak or missing entirely in daily life. They often carry an inflated sense of entitlement, believing they are allowed to move through life however they please. Do not be fooled by this. The pain they cause you rarely registers with them in any meaningful way, even after their poor choices and behavior have clearly hurt someone. Any apology you receive is unlikely to be sincere, and whatever change you notice afterward tends to fade quickly. Once you let your guard down and let them back in, expect the same old patterns to return. This brings us to the final point. Eventually, a narcissist will need to move on and find someone new to manipulate. If you refuse to fall for their lies and manipulation, they will go looking for an easier target somewhere else. It might feel discouraging to think about someone else facing what you went through, but for you, it is good news because you will no longer be involved. Do not give up, even if healing takes time. It will not be easy, but the effort you put in will be worth it in the end. That is everything for today. There is still more to talk about in future videos. If you have your own experience dealing with a narcissist, feel free to share it in the comments. And if you want to catch future videos like this one, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Thank you for watching. Now let's talk about how to handle a narcissist who has become fixated on you and how to put them in their place. Narcissists hide who they really are behind a carefully built mask. Every day, every moment, they are pretending to be someone they are not, working hard to keep that mask from slipping so no one sees what lies underneath. The parts of themselves they are ashamed of, the things they deny even to themselves. More than anything, they live inside a web of lies, never admitting their weaknesses, their real fears, their doubts, or their regrets, not to others and not to themselves. All they truly care about is getting what they want and looking good while doing it. Whatever they set their sights on, they intend to get, no matter the cost. So how do you deal with someone like this? Here are 10 reliable ways to show a narcissist that they do not hold the power in this relationship. Before trying any of these, there are a few things worth knowing. Make sure you are emotionally prepared for the reaction that might follow before confronting them directly. If you come across as stronger than they expected, they are more likely to back down. But if they sense any weakness in you, they will use it fully to try to bring you down. Keep this in mind because narcissists behave like predators, and it is up to you to make sure you do not look like an easy target. The first step is resisting the urge to react. As hard as it may be, try to stay calm and emotionally neutral around them. Exposing your emotions is risky when you are dealing with someone skilled at manipulation, so avoid giving them material they can later use against you. Keep your emotional reactions in check as much as you possibly can. Do not share personal details with them, not even small hints about how you are feeling. Protect your privacy and the privacy of the people you love. Think of it like the old saying about not casting your valuables in front of those who will not appreciate them. The simplest way to put a narcissist in their place is to take away their power over you. Show them plainly that they have no influence over your emotions, that they cannot manipulate or fool you, and that their passive-aggressive comments or subtle contempt do not land the way they hope. Once a narcissist realizes they cannot get a reaction out of you, they lose their footing. This works because you are showing them, without needing to say much, that they hold no real importance in your life. Nothing about them draws your attention or triggers an emotional response from you. Once they notice that their usual tactics, the ones meant to annoy or hurt you, are not working at all, they tend to disappear from your life fairly quickly. Keep in mind that the more attention a narcissist gets, even negative attention, the more they escalate their behavior, because to them, any reaction is better than being ignored completely. So the strategy remains the same: stay calm and do not react. The second approach is understanding the power of silence. Very few things put a narcissist in their place faster than simply treating them as though they are irrelevant. Give them nothing, not even a single word in response. Your silence communicates more clearly than anything you could say that you have no interest in whatever they are trying to stir up. It tells them you are not an easy target and that their games will not work on you. Do not fall for their manipulation, their dishonesty, or the disrespect they show toward people they consider beneath them, because if you let your guard down, they will eventually treat you the same way. The less time and attention you give them, the better off you will be. The third approach is working on your own self-esteem. When you have a strong sense of who you are, it becomes much easier to withstand lies, insults, and attempts to tear you down. Let go of old pain and guilt you may still be carrying. When your self-worth is solid, manipulative, and controlling people simply stop appealing to you because you can see clearly that they lack real empathy. Focus your energy on building that inner strength. The fourth approach is setting firm, confident boundaries, since that is one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself. Narcissists often believe they deserve more than they actually do, but understand this clearly, they will not get it from you. Sometimes the word no is a complete answer on its own. Saying something like, "I need time to think about it," or "I will get back to you," is a mature and healthy way to respond to their constant demands and expectations. Do not let guilt, shame, or pressure change your answer. What you say and what you do need to match. If your actions do not follow through on your words, people stop trusting what you say. Healthy people will generally respect the boundaries you set. The people who genuinely care about you will appreciate that clarity. Narcissists, on the other hand, tend to respond the opposite way. If they do not back off right away, your boundaries need to become even firmer and clearer. It is up to you to hold that line and get comfortable defending your own needs. And above everything else, stay true to who you are.